backyard, pull up in your fast car, whistling my name. Open up a beer.
Hello, welcome to Vantalk. I am Sasha Honey, and I'm here today with Matt Lennox, who is a very talented Vancouver guitarist.
As you can probably tell.
Hello. So you were busking earlier today. Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience is like?
Cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's exhilarating. It's just there's so much that I've learned about myself as a busker.
Yeah.
That I couldn't have learned in any other arena as a musician. Because I want to express to people, I want to communicate to them what busking has given me in the hopes that maybe they will try it, maybe they will see what they can get out of busking as well and what they can give.
Yeah. So what would you say you've gotten out of busking?
Whew. I've learned how to perform, I would say, is the first thing that comes to mind, because you're always playing in front of people. You know, there's brilliant musicians in the world. There's brilliant musicians in the world who can only play in their bedroom. Or there's classically trained musicians, people who study for years in school, but they play their parts amazingly, but you put them in front of a panel of judges and they fall apart because they don't know how to perform in front of people.
I'm wondering what type of guitar you use. What's your most preferred guitar, considering his stock of guitars?
There's also one that's not here. Her name is Maria.
He also names his guitars?
Yeah.
Yes. Maria.
No, you gotta roll the R's. Got roll up the practice. You do your best.
Maria.
There we go. There you go. You got it all right.
Maria.
There we go. There we go. Because she's actually she was made in Spain.
Oh.
That's the one I've been focusing a lot because I've really been getting into finger picking more.
Right.
But I use just about everything. Depends. It really depends on the. One of the great things about the guitar is that there's just so many variations on the theme. Was
there a time upon learning the guitar that it was more frustrating and difficult than enjoyable?
Well, I'm still learning. I'm always learning. I think that's what keeps me going at this. If I ever stopped learning, I would lose my passion for this. There's always been times that are difficult. There's always been times that are heartbreakingly just you want to communicate something. Like you have something in your head, a feeling, an emotion, an idea, a theme, maybe even you have a riff in your head, but you just can't translate it to your fingertips. And that's
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
A lot of alcohol. Don't drink it. Don't do drugs.
No.
Drugs are bad, okay? Patience, and just sort of understanding that maybe this idea in my head that wants to be communicated, maybe my fingers don't know the exact way that they can. Maybe it's a chord that I don't know how to play yet. So I guess the only cure is prevention. You know, you just try and learn as much as you can, so that when you do have that idea, you can just do it. Do
you have an idol who plays guitar, a person that you aspire to be, or are you creating your own idol yourself?
I used to really aspire to artists. I used to really aspire, some of my favorites were Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin. His version of Stairway to Heaven, his rendition of Stairway to Heaven live at Madison Square Garden for their concert. They had for The Song Remains the Same, their movie. Oh, that song just sent shivers down my spine. His solo was just magnificent. It was just brilliant. It was spine tingling, every note, and every note was just perfect. You know what it's like? You know, finding a song that you love is like meeting a girl. In my case, a girl. In your case, it might be a boy. Like that, you're just like, oh yeah, they're cute, and then you think about them like all day.
Good.
Yeah, you just think about
every day. This is so good.
And you're like, oh, I can't get this person off my mind. But with dating, you might feel kind of guilty about it. But with music, there's no guilt. You're just like, I want to listen to a song 8 times in a row. Like, I'll listen to a song 8 times in a row. No, not even fucking kidding.
I overplay a song on repeat until I'm sick of it.
Yep.
When did you first become interested in guitar? When were you you developed your passion and you knew that this is what you want to pursue?
Well, at the very first, okay, well, this is kind of embarrassing, but my first inkling to want to play the guitar was I had a crush on this girl. I was such a shy kid in high school. You wouldn't tell by looking at me now, but I was so nervous. Like even talking to a beautiful girl like you, I'd be like palm sweaty. I'd be like, oh, like run away fast. You know, I was just so nervous around girls and people in general, and I couldn't express myself. And I've always liked art. I've always been an artistic person. And so one day, this girl that I had a huge crush on, her name was Kaylee. And she had this like crazy curly hair, ringlets, like really cute, really small, cute girl. And I just had it in for her. I had it in for her something bad. And this guy, the guy who actually, the guy in high school who was kind of the rock star. He was kind of the rock star. He sat down in front of her and he played this song and her eyes lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. No! I was like, and like, you know, like, she's just, oh, you're so good. Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, well, you know. And meanwhile, on the other side of the class, I'm just sitting there like,
need to acquire that skill.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And like, and that's like, that's what kind of, that was the spark. But obviously, I don't play guitar to meet girls. I started realizing how much I wanted to do this for a living just over the year. Over the last couple of years, I've had more and more realizations that this is what I want to do because what I've overcome with it. Music has carried me through the worst times in my life. It's been my pillar. I don't necessarily believe that just pumping hours into your craft is the only or even the best way to improve. I think that a mind that is free and clear of debris and clutter and chaos is more capable of learning. A mind that is happy and content and peaceful.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I do.
You know, it's the epitome of work hard or work smart.
Yeah.
You can either put 10 hours into something, just mindlessly, just playing it, or you can put 1 hour devotedly focusing and just pouring everything you have into. That's my approach. It's just
it's really the type of practice rather than the amount.
Yeah, but you know, like just feel it. Just practice as much as you want, and then a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
If you're
just a little bit.
If you're at the point when you're basically just like, Veronica, I love you, but I'm gonna smash you, then put it down.
You're alone. You are doing a Attitude of Gratitude project that is very inspiring. Can you tell me a little bit about what the project is and what motivated you to start this project? Well,
2012 was a nightmare. I'll just say that straightforward. It was the worst, the most challenging, most brutal year I've ever had in my life. It was, you know what? Previous to this, it was more like late 2011 and then 2012. Previous to this, the worst times I'd ever been through in my life were breakups. You know, like some girl would break my heart. And those were always the things that hurt the most. Were breakups.
I feel that.
Yeah, and they suck. Of course they suck. But 2011, late like September 2011 to August, like a year. It was almost freakish how it was just a year. I experienced everything that I never thought I would. I lost family members. I lost friends. Like I experienced. It's almost like a dream talking about it now. But in the space of that 1 year, 4 people in my life passed on, and I've never experienced this before. Never. I never knew what death was like. I never knew. And you know, people tell you about death. They tell you that it hurts, and of course you know because
it has to.
It has to hurt, but
feeling it yourself is a whole different feeling.
There's a difference between knowing that going through death is painful and crying in the fetal position in your kitchen corner because it just hits you like a train. I had like all these other little things, like I went through breakups. I had my heart broken again, like, but in skiing. I know, it was just like, and obviously compared to the other things I'd gone through, it seemed like a minute, but it was just another thing. And like my mom's house was broken into, and like a bunch of my stuff was stolen. Then my band broke up at the end of the year.
This is tragic.
It was
a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, and it was just one after the other.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the middle of just that, like I was just so unhappy. I had never been that unhappy in my life, just because I felt like I was being just dragged underwater all the time and scrambling to get to the air. Like, grief is just something that you need to make time for in your life. You can't bury it. I can't bury it. I'm too emotional. I'm too much of a passionate human being to just shove that shit under the rug. You know, this whole year was just really tough. And somewhere in the middle of it, a friend of mine, this wonderful, inspiring single mother, Joan, she'd been doing it, and I read them and I thought they were really cool, and I thought, you know what, like I'm gonna try them.
So how did you find out about the Attitude of Gratitude project that Joan was doing?
From her. She was on Facebook, and she was doing that. Yeah.
And you were friends with her. I was
friends with her, and I would just like her posts.
Yeah.
And it was something that was really cool, and I thought it was admirable. And
yeah.
So I started doing it myself, and I found it to be just it has just been amazing.
So what can you explain the project? So every day you.
Basically, it's a really simple project.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy to pick up. It's easy to pick up. It requires a minimal amount of discipline. Minimal amount,
yeah, people.
Minimal amount. If you can't do this, you certainly can't do karate. But like it just requires that every day you wake up. You can do it when you wake up, or you can do it when you sleep, and you write in your journal. You go on Facebook, and you just write. You think about something that you're grateful for. It's just converting your mindset from the glass half empty to the glass half full. We all have things to be grateful for. Every single
everyone.
And you know, sometimes in our pursuit of the dream, of the money, of the life that we want, that we don't have, we lose track of what we do have. Because the life I live now is the life that I dreamed about living 5 years ago. 5 years ago, all I wanted to do was make a living as a musician and have amazing friends. And be confident with women. Apparently I don't sweat around the palms anymore, so I'm just gonna, I think I'm pretty confident. That's all I wanted. Yay! and now 5 years later, I'm a very happy, secure human being. I make my living doing what I love, and I have for 2.5 years. Nearly 3 years, and that's just the stuff I dreamed about. So if I was never happy, then even at this point, I'd be like, oh well, I have this, sure, but I don't have this. What's the point of living when you're just thinking about what you don't have? That's
a very good mindset to have. Yeah. So I have one final question.
Oh, the one I've heard so much about.
Okay, so if you could choose between reading people's minds or being invisible, and you can turn this power off, which one would you choose?
Invisible.
And why?
Because reading people's minds would make life too easy.
Would it make it too easy?
Yeah, you'd like. I love the banter between, like, I love going out with a girl and not knowing exactly what she's thinking. I love hanging out with my friends and like getting into an argument and then having to figure it out. Like, I feel like if you could read people's minds, like life would just become kind of simple. You just know what everyone was thinking. You'd know how to like just deal with people all the time. And I kind of like the challenge of it. I kind of like, you know, getting in random confrontations with random people who don't necessarily agree with me, or even just like great confrontations, you know, like not necessarily bad, but like good ones. I feel like I would be very bored with people if I could understand their motives and their reasons. I'd just be like, oh yeah, that person's using me. Oh, that person just wants sex. Yeah. That person's thinking of penguins. I don't really know why. Like, penguins are cute and all, but like this, like that's all they're thinking about. That's all.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, like that's much. Just like penguins. Like, I would just be like, rather than being like, why does this person have a blank stare in their face? What are they thinking? The person's like, penguin. I feel like that would just be less exciting, you know.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. And thank you so much. Until next time.
Peace.
They keep saying, don't stop, no one's ever enough. I'll never